My name is David Jaffe. Welcome to the Wealth and Health Podcast, where you'll learn valuable skills and positive habits that will improve your life. This podcast originally aired as a video on my YouTube channel at youtube.com/BestStockStrategy. The Wealth and Health Podcast is brought to you by BestStockStrategy.com. In the Money review. Is Adam from In the Money someone who's worthwhile paying attention to? I spent a few hours watching his videos, and I have to say that Adam probably has one of the best fundamental and solid understandings of how options work on anyone that I've seen on YouTube. It's really amazing. And although I don't agree with everything that he says, like, for example, I watched on one of his videos with Apple, where the amount of extrinsic premium when purchasing a Leap is not that much. I also did some calculations, and I also then opened up my E-Trade app and saw that doing a comparable trade on Amazon for a Leap that's 2 years out actually does use up a significant amount of buying power. And I use portfolio margin, and even with portfolio margin, it still uses up and ties up a significant amount of capital for buying a call option that's deep in the money as a Leap. Even so, where I potentially disagree with him on a few small items, because I do definitely believe that the Apple trade that he was talking about in his Leap video is fantastic. I definitely believe that he's brilliant. I really do. I think that he speaks incredibly well. His brain processes information extremely well. I like the video where he showed his positions, where it was a mix of selling puts, and also he was long a Boeing call, and he also had some stock positions. I just think that he's brilliant, and especially for someone who's so young, who has this type of understanding, I think that he's definitely someone that you should pay attention to. Regarding anything that I would change, even buying very deep in the money call options, I think is fine. You really wouldn't want to buy them on expensive stocks, primarily because even if you're using something like portfolio margin, is going to tie up capital for a long period of time. Although if you do get a rapid and favorable move in the direction that you're hoping for, then you could easily close out that position for a large gain, because you're not going to realize a significant amount of theta decay on those options. And then also you're effectively going to be profiting significantly because the delta on those in the money call options are so high. So what that means is that for every dollar move of the underlying stock, your option is, for all intents and purposes, going to go up by a comparable amount. But yeah, like, I definitely think that he's really, really intelligent. I think that someone like Adam, who is very young and who has such a strong and solid fundamental understanding of how options works, has a very bright future ahead of him. I did notice that he doesn't put out that many videos. Like, for example, he puts out here around like one a month. Here he puts out one in 2 months, etc. So maybe he puts out, like, although it looks like recently he's been putting out more content. But overall, I definitely think that if he has the desire and he doesn't get overwhelmed with putting out a tremendous amount of content, I think that the sky's the limit for him. I definitely think that he's someone that you should pay attention to. He has amazing content. And I think that it would be fantastic if we saw more of his trading account. Like, I like the video that he put out where he showed his Robinhood account, where he was short a put and then he was long a call on Boeing. I think the strike on that Boeing call was like 165, and that trade is obviously very profitable. I think Boeing hit a low of about $89 in March 2020, and I think Boeing's all-time high was around $444, $445, if I remember, something around there. So for him to buy a long-dated call option on Boeing at 165, where obviously it's not going to go out of business because it's too important to the overall global economy as an airplane manufacturer, I think that that's an incredible trade. So a lot of his videos are very educational. I think a little bit of advice is for someone like myself, who's probably made around 30,000 options trades, his mind processes information so quickly that I do believe that a lot of the people who follow his videos probably get a little bit lost in everything that he discusses. So I think that for him, it might benefit him to not only put out more videos more frequently, but also to speak a little bit more slowly and also to potentially make things easier to understand for his viewers. Because if I had to rewind his videos a few times, now granted, I was watching it at 2x speed in order to get through as much content as possible. But even by watching his videos at 2x speed, there were a few times in some of his videos where I did rewind it just to make sure that I caught exactly what he was saying. And if I had to do that for someone who has a lot of experience, I believe that it's possible that some of his viewers might not understand everything that he's saying. Even so, I can't speak highly enough about him. I think that he's brilliant. I think that for someone this young to have a mastery of how to trade options profitably is just incredible. And it really speaks to the power of how important depth is as opposed to having superficial knowledge over a broad area. Adam just knows so much about trading options, where I think that for a young person to gain this type of knowledge, it's actually pretty comparable to another guy that I follow about health. His name is Seam Land. And for someone like Seam Land, who I think is about like 23 years old, to know as much about health as he does, and for Adam to know so much about options as he does, I think that he is someone that you can look up to as a potential role model. Because for someone so young to acquire more knowledge than probably many of the hedge fund managers, I think it is incredible. And it really talks about how important it is to like study your craft and to fully immerse yourself. And if you do that, and if you dedicate yourself and you learn so much about options trading, then you too can be an expert in the field of study that you're passionate about. And clearly Adam is very passionate about trading options, and maybe you are passionate about something else. And as long as you dedicate yourself and you study and you watch videos and you just research everything, then you too can become an expert. So I think it's incredible. I was very pleasantly surprised, and I think that he is brilliant, and I think that he's definitely someone who's worthy of your attention. Visit BestStockStrategy.com and submit your email address to receive valuable free training. Please give this podcast a positive rating and review. If you have any questions, visit BestStockStrategy.com and send me a message.